Richard Kierstead used to visit the VA hospital in West Haven as often as 5 times a month to minister to his illnesses and be evaluated.
I'd have to get a ride in at 8 o'clock to make sure I got there at 10. So a 15-minute appointment took a whole day for myself.
Richard's diabetic, has multiple sclerosis and advanced heart disease. He needs daily monitoring of his vital signs to manage his health. 2 years ago, Richard got this telehealth care system developed by a company called Viterion.
They are able to take their vital signs as well as they are able to answer the questions. Another important feature is that the patient is able to get a feedback back from the healthcare provider as advice.
Make sure there are no little scratches or little red areas.
At the VA hospital, a nurse monitors developments. If Mr. Kierstead's vitals begin to fluctuate, he gets a consultation. Richard only had to be hospitalized once last year for a heart attack. The year before he got the telehealth care system, he made dozens of visits to the VA and was hospitalized 4 times. The Department of Veterans Affairs plans to equip 25,000 patients with telehealth care by the end of 2004. The VA estimates it saved about $2 million on the care of 47 patients in the region over a single year, and the impact of telehealth care can go far beyond the VA.
It will allow healthcare providers to monitor the patient condition from home or their place of living, and will allow them to take medical action based on the information that is collected.
The bottom line is patients get house calls once again, actively manage their own health, and save in health care costs at the same time. This is Jim Jackson reporting.
Scheme, which means patients can communicate with their GP via a computer link in their own home, is being trialled in Kent.
The County Council is the first in Britain to spend £1 million on the Telehealth system, and the Dartford area is where it's being tested.
In America, it's cut hospital admissions by up to 80%. Holly Lewis reports.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please enter your private code, then press the OK button.
83-year-old Charlie Sharp from Dartford suffers from diabetes and angina. Up until August, he was regularly travelling for an hour on the bus to visit the doctor. Now he uses the Telehealth computer to test his blood pressure and blood sugar levels. It sends the results down the phone line to a central server. At the surgery, his doctor or a district nurse logs onto the internet every day to monitor trends in the results of the high-tech patients and spot problems before they escalate.
It's very good. I mean, to my opinion, it's a computer doctor. It's easier and it goes direct and no messing about.
We would always say to people that this isn't a replacement for either the nurse visiting them or the doctor. What it does do is make the nurse or the doctor visits or interventions more appropriate in terms of timing, in terms of what we can do.
3% of health conditions, including diabetes, account for 50% of hospital admissions. Sham Ali gave up work to care for his mother. She used to spend an average of 2 months a year in hospital. Since she's been on Telehealth, she hasn't been in once, and Sham is looking for a part-time job. Kent County Council says Telehealth gives carers and patients peace of mind.
It's also enabling people that would otherwise be in some kind of care, or perhaps in a hospital bed, A&E, this kind of facility, to remain in their own homes for longer.
The council say the computer can never replace the GP, but if it can help people manage their own conditions, it can only be a good thing for doctors and patients. Holly Lewis in Dartford for Meridian Tonight.
Become the first in the country to take part in trials of a scheme which allows vulnerable people to monitor their health at home and send the details on to their doctors.
Now, the new technology, which is already credited with saving lives, was pioneered in the United States of America. Here's our health correspondent, Nigel Thompson.
Making sure her mum is fit and healthy, especially at this time of year, is something Mary Lockett takes seriously. But keeping her fit and making sure she remains independent has been made easier. Frequent trips to her GP have become a thing of the past, thanks to a piece of equipment which sits quietly in the corner of her flat.
Make sure there are no little scratches or little...
Kent is the first county in the country to try out the Telehealth scheme. It's a project that hails from Seattle in the United States, where it was praised for highlighting conditions that would otherwise have gone undetected.
Right, let's do your blood pressure.
Please take your blood pressure.
It gives you confidence, actually, because you know you're being tested, sort of thing, every so often.
A few miles away, her doctor is able to keep an eye on the results, although they're at pains to point out it doesn't do away with visits to the surgery completely.
What we're trying to do is add an additional service to people who are vulnerable, so that in between times, when they wouldn't be planning to see us, we can still keep an eye on them while they're at home.
Let's start your measurement.
The plan here now is to extend the scheme across the rest of Kent. With an ageing population and increasing pressure on capacity within the health service, this system may well have an increasing role to play in keeping us all healthy. Nigel Thompson, BBC South East Today, Bearsted.